So in this video, I'm going to start configuring port channels, and before doing this, there are some differences between these platforms and some other platforms that you need to know. First of all, you should know that the aggregator interface or the port channel interface is not being created automatically. You have to create it, and you need to copy the configuration inside that, and the extra information, the extra configuration can be added to port channel interface. So that is very important to understand. And also what I'm going to do is to create layer 2 port channel between switch 5 and switch 6 using Ethernet 4 and Ethernet 5 interfaces. So let's do this. The first thing that I'm going to do is to show run interface ETH4, and for now you can see that I have not configured these two and ETH5. And if I just say interface, let's say for example P01, you can see that there is no port channel configured for us here. So what I'm going to do is to go to configuration mode, and first of all I'm going to start the configuration of Ethernet 4 and Ethernet 5. So let's say that interface ETH4, I'm going to say switch ports, switch bridge 1, and bridge 1 instance 1, bridge 1 instance 2, because we have MSTP configured on our switches. And then I'm going to say switch port mode is trunk, and switch port trunk that's going to have allowed VLAN list of all. Okay, the same thing is going to go under Ethernet 5. So I'm going to say interface ETH5, and of course ETH5 with no space. And then I'm going to copy this configuration and paste it under this. Let's commit this configuration for now. Okay, this configuration is done, and let's do the same thing on the other side. On switch 6, enconf first of all I'll do show run interface ETH4. Okay, we have this configuration on switch 5, and it's 5. Okay, so we have this, so our trunk interfaces is created for us without any problem. So let's go back to switch 5. I'm going to create the aggregator interface right here. So I'm going to say interface P01, and let's say that I'm going to add all the configuration that I had there in here. So I'm going to copy the configuration under this, the same configuration that I have under Ethernet 4 and Ethernet 5, switch port, bridge 1, and bridge instance, something like this. Let's commit the configuration for now. Okay, so it says that now we have created Ethernet port channel interfaces. Show IP interface brief is going to show this interface in the list. No, it doesn't. So let's see if this interface has been created for us. It says that for now if index is 0 because we have not added any of those interfaces to port channel. Okay, let's do this. And I'm going to say do show not IP interfaces, interface brief, and you can see that now port channel is under this. That's because this is a layer 2 interface for now, and the mode is trunk. The status is down because we don't have any member interface on that. And here it says that this is protocol down, and because there is no bandwidth in there. That's okay. So let's do the configuration here. The configuration is going to be like this. I'm going to go interface under interface 4 configuration, and I could go with this. I can just say channel group, or I can say static channel group. Now static channel group is going to create a static port channel for us, but let's say that I'm going to go with dynamic port channel for now. So I'm going to say channel group, and after that I can just specify a number for that. Now this number says that I can assign any number from 1 to 65,000, but of course you cannot have 65,000 port channels on your switch, and you don't really need to have so many port channels. Based on the platform that you are working on, you should just check to see how many port channels you can have. In production, I see something like 2 port channels or 3 port channels on each switch. You do not really need to have so many port channels, but platforms can give you up to 256 port channels on one device. Also, under any port channel interface, you can have up to 64 member interfaces. That is more than enough, and I have never seen so many interfaces under a port channel. As a matter of fact, if you have something upper than 8 links, more than 8 links, for example, you would just go with a module that has a higher uplinks, a higher bandwidth uplinks on that, and that would be cheaper to have that module on your switch rather than having more than 8 ports connected to the others switches. And that's going to, of course, give you a lot of complications. For example, having so many ports, having so much cabling and stuff like that. So let's say that I'm going to say channel group number 1, and I'm choosing number 1. That is because I have created interface port channel 1. Whatever the number is, I'm going to assign it to here. And after that, I'm going to have mode. And you can see that there are 2 modes. We are creating LACP. Now, mode active means that I am initializing the negotiation. Mode passive says I'm not initializing the negotiation, but I am here listening to that. In case there is a switch on the other side asking me to create this link aggregation, I'm going to go with that. But if I don't hear anything, I'm not going to make any changes to the interfaces. So I'm going to go with active on both sides. At least one side should be active. Okay. So I just create this, and also I'm going to do the same thing under ETH5. So that's it. Now I'm going to commit the configuration. Okay. So the configuration is done, and now I should see that the port channel is going to be up and running. So if I say do show interface brief, you can see that it says port channel is now down for some reason. Let's see what the reason is. And for that, I have some specific commands here. The first command is show. And I need to go with do show ether channel. And that's going to give me just the number of links and the member interfaces. If I just go with ether channel summary, then it's going to give me some more information, but not as much as I really want. I need to go with detail. So if I just say show ether channel detail, that's going to give me some interesting information here. What are those information? So the first one says that this aggregator is port channel 1. It is layer 2. And these are, not that one, of course, here. Sorry. Aggregator period 2. The link is layer 2. There is a virtual MAC address assigned to this port channel interface. And also, if I just go to here, it says that received link count is 0. This means that for now, I don't have any link utilized. Why? Because this is a dynamic port channel, and on the other side, we don't have any link responding. This means that we have to create the other side so that this side comes up. But right now, I'm just going with some verification commands to just make sure that everything is good. For example, I would say do show run interface PO1. This is exactly the same as the configuration of the member interfaces, which is okay. And also, I'm going to say show interface PO1 in brief, of course. So that's going to be okay. So I guess show interface brief PO1. Yes, that's it. And it gives me some information about this. Okay. And let's do the configuration on the other side. Because we already have configuration for the member interfaces, I can just copy this. I can create the aggregator. Let's say PO whatever number. I'm going to go with PO1 again, but like I said, the numbers are locally significant. You don't have to have the same numbers on both sides. And I'm going to just paste this configuration here. Then I need to go and commit this for now. Okay. Then I'm going to go to Ethernet 4, and I'm going to say channel group 1 mode is active, or you can go with passive because the other side is active, of course. And let's see what we have here. There is no change. Okay. And the same thing for Ethernet 5. And then I'm going to say commit. Okay, now we should see some changes to the situation. On switch 5, it says that now port channel is up and running. You see that? It says that the state is up. That is because now we have created this bundle dynamically, actually, because we just talked to the other side. The other side was willing, and then this port channel has been created for us. So now if I just go with this command, it says that this is in mode trunk and the status is up. If I just go with this command, ether channel detail, now it's going to give us some interface here. It says that the receive link count is 2, transmit link count is 2. Why? Because I have configured 2 links and the other side has configured 2 links, and these are the exact ports that are connected to each other. And there is something important here. Let's assume that I have more than 2 links between these switches. And in that case, one of the links could go down. This means that on the other side, for example, instead of 3, 2 of the links are up, while I have configured 3. And my 3 links are up and running. In this case, I'm going to say my transmitters are 3, but receiving is 2. And I'm going to utilize only those 2 because the other side cannot utilize the other one. So that is very important to understand what this means here. And another concept that you can configure under port channel interface is this. Let me just show you. I'm going to go to interface PO1. And what I'm going to say is port channel. And under this, there are 2 very important things. One of them is min links. So let's say that I have 4 links under my port channel. When should I declare this port channel down? I would say, for example, as long as at least 2 of my links are up, I'm going to keep this port channel up. But if I go lower than 2, which means that only one of the links is working, then there is no point in keeping the port channel. So I'm going to just declare port channel down, and that link is going to act as a normal link. So that is the mean number of links that you have here. And because I have 2, as a matter of fact, this configuration is not going to be so useful. The other one says min bandwidth. That is very interesting. Like I said, you could have multiple types of links here. For example, one of my links are 20G, the other one is 10G. And I say, as long as I have at least 20 gigabits per second speed bandwidth on my link, on my port channel, I'm going to keep this port channel up. Otherwise, I'm going to declare this port channel down. So that is something that I would configure when I just go with this kind of a link here. The other thing which is important, like I said, is load balance. Now, what is load balance? Let me just speak about this in a let's just put it in few words here. Let's say that switch 1 and switch 2 have this link created. Switch 1 is connected to some devices here. Let's say, for example, there are some devices, and this is connected to a LAN here. These devices are connected to this. Switch 2 is connected to a server. Okay. Now my server is just one device, and all of these devices are connected to my server. I need to make sure that the traffic that goes from these computers to that server is going to be distributed on these links. Because like I said, each flow goes on one of these, and for this, I need to just make sure that I have multiple flows. Because I have multiple computers, then I'm going to have multiple flows. But if I say load balancing is not based on IP, then the flow is not going to happen. Or maybe there is a router here. If there is a router here, then there is going to be only one MAC address here used for all of these flows. Then, in this case, MAC address is not a good option to decide what is the source MAC address, because all of the computers are going to have one source MAC address. So if I have such configuration here, I would say that I'm going to use a source IP as load balancing, and the destination IP does not really matter because there is only one destination IP on the other side. So that's not going to be used here. Let's say that there are a combination of servers down here. What am I going to do here? In this case, I have multiple IPs in source, multiple IPs in destination. Then source IP and destination IP is going to be used for my load balancing. In this case, this is going to create more flows for me. So, and of course, MAC address and protocol number is going to be another one. But load balance is going to configure this for you. So if I just say load balance, yeah, and just, is this interface port channel? Yes. So I would say load. Oh, I don't have load balance under this. You can see that. Unfortunately, it doesn't give me this information here right now. So interface PO1 and oh, okay, that's it. Port channel load balance. Okay, that's it. So you see that normally what I'm going to do is to select source and destination IP in case all my traffic is going to be layer 3 traffic. So that is going to be the one. And also I guess that this is the default one because I need to see somewhere that this load balance is given to me. Let me just see that. If I just say and I need to commit, of course, all the configuration, commit, and I'm going to say and, so show ether channel load balance. Here it says. So ether channel load balance says that source and destination IP, like I said, is a default one. So you can just select which one based on what you need, but most likely the default is going to be okay for you, and there would be no problem in that kind of configuration. Okay, so we have created this, and like I said, we can go with a static port channel as well. For a static port channel, what you need to do is to select a static channel group, and the aggregator interface is going to be SA, and after that the number for that. So in case, for example, you are using a static channel group 10 under the member interfaces, what you need to do is to go with interface SA 10 under that under port for the port channel interface, not PO, just SA. And I'm not let's just configure this and do it. So what I'm going to do is to go to configuration mode, and I'm going to say interface EAT4 and show run interface EAT4. I'm going to say for some reason Ethernet 4 is losing its configuration, and PO1 is receiving that configuration. Okay, so I'm going to say no port channel mode, no channel group, actually, that's it. And interface EAT5, no channel group. I'm going to commit this. So what I'm going to do is to say show run interface EAT4. Now you say that I have lost all one configuration under that. I'm going to assign this configuration. So just the only configuration that I'm going to give up is going to be the port channel configuration. So I'm going to do with that. Interface EAT5, of course, the same thing, and commit this. Okay, now I'm going to do this. Under these interfaces, I'm going to say static port channel, but before doing that, I need to create that SA interface, the aggregator interface. So I would say interface SA, let's say 10. That's going to create this aggregator interface, and I'm going to add this configuration to that. I'm going to say commit. Okay, Now that I have created this, interface EAT4 is going to be part of that static channel group 10, and after that nothing. Interface EAT5 is going to part of this, and then I'm going to commit this configuration. And you can see that the other side, of course, is not configured with a static port channel, and it was configured with port channel dynamic, and that is why you see that the port channel is still up, because here we have a port channel. So if I just say do show interface brief, here my port channel now, although it is both of them are up, and that is funny because we don't have any member interface under that. But let me see. So if I just say do show ether channel summary, that's going to give us information. And ether channel, of course, nothing. Do show, that is because we don't have it. What I'm going to use as the what is it? The verification command, as a matter of fact, is this. Do show run interface SA1. Can't find SA1. Why? Because SA10, sorry. SA10. This is what we have. Do show run interface EAT4. Now this has lost all its configuration because the major configuration goes under SA interfaces. And also, if I say do show static channel group, it is ambiguous. Static channel group. Now it says that both of these interfaces are up and running. Let me just go to this mode, show static channel group, and after that we have 10, and after that that's it. We don't have any detail for that. Show ether channel summary. Show ether channel. It doesn't say anything about ether channel. So show port channel. So we don't have this now because we don't have any port channel, as a matter of fact. But in any case, if I just say IP interface brief, SA doesn't appear here. And let's just do something. I'm going to say configure terminal, no interface PO1, and commit. I'm just removing PO1, and this means that we don't have any PO1 here. Show ether channel doesn't have anything. Okay, but if I say do show interface brief, it is going to tell me that there is this interface in trunk mode and it is up and running. On the other side, though, so if I just say show ether channel summary, not summary as a matter of fact, ether channel, because I want to see whether the interfaces are up or not. Here it says that, you see, no link is working. So what I'm trying to do here is to do the same configuration that I had done on the other side. So I'm going to say interface SA, let's say for example 10 or whatever number that you are going to add, and do show run interface PO1. I'm going to just copy this and add it to SA10. I'm going to say no interface. No, let's commit this first. Do show run interface EAT4. I'm going to say interface EAT4. No channel group. Of course, I don't really need more than this. Interface EAT5. No channel group. Commit. no interface, PO1, commit, and then I'm going to say interface EAT4. I would say static channel group. What was that? 10. Interface EAT5. The same thing, and I'm going to say commit. Okay, so we have created this. Do WR, and I'm going to save everything that I have created. And do WR, everything saved. So if I just say do show static channel group, here we have this. Do show interface brief. Here we have this interface up and running, and everything seems to be just fine. So I'm going to ping the other side. So I'm going to say do ping 192.168.100.205, and the ping goes through the channel group that we have just created. So this is a creation of a static and dynamic channel group. In next video, I'm going to show you how we can create multi-chassis link aggregation.